Hey, welcome back, everyone, to our 10 tips for driving online traffic to your accessory store. This is a webinar should last about 40 minutes. And just as a note, everyone is on mute. And if you do have questions through the webinar, there is a chat panel in the GoToWebinar. You can add your questions there, and we'll be answering the questions at the end of the webinar. Presenting today will be Derek Miller at Webshop Manager. He is our senior e-commerce strategist, as well as Rob Eberhard at DCI. He's director of Internet Solutions. Anyways, so the agenda for today, I'll wait till the screen updates here, is we're going to walk through the accessory store market landscape. So 5 minutes there. We're going to try to get through everything fairly quickly today. Look at techniques for local accessory stores to capture online traffic. Your techniques, strategies for capturing this online traffic and bringing those into the stores. And then once they're in the stores, obviously selling them on the parts that they inquired on, but also upselling them, in successful strategies that we've seen with people, customers in the field. And then we're going to look at the different revenue sources for having a locally optimized parts, accessory website. And this, again, is coming from our customers and what new techniques they've been able to use with the websites to drive both in-store traffic as well as upsell existing customers. Then we'll do a quick summary and get into a Q&A, and we'll open that up to questions. So just real quickly, from what we've learned about the accessory stores, there is a lot of competitive pressures right now. People are more and more looking online for parts. And they're running into the channels, eBay, Amazon. They're running into the large, very aggressive stores that have a strong online presence, like Summit Racing. And more often than not, they're stopping right there and purchasing. And they're also finding local stores, local stores that are your competitors to you, that you spend time optimizing their presence, and you have that local rankings in the search engines. And so we want to talk about that. How do we combat those two pressures and you find additional revenue for people that are searching online? We found people that kind of in the accessory business that you say, well, why should I should be doing e-commerce as well. Everyone else is making money there. The problem for new people starting up doing e-commerce is there's been everyone's doing it. There's been a commoditization of the products as well as the price. And it's really hard to compete against the channels, against established businesses. If you're selling the same price, parts at the same price as everybody else, you really have to find your niche, or you have to be really strong, leveraging what you have, which is your local presence. Both from your locally optimized website, but also the strength of, I'll let Derek talk about this, your local expertise and ability to do installations. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Derek and let him speak a little bit more about what the value that we provide that's unique.
Great. Thanks a lot, Brian. So as Brian just mentioned, the next point we want to go through is, that value of that local accessory store. With all or most accessories, there requires some sort of assembly and installation. And if you're like me, I love cars, I love trucks. But I'm not going to be that guy that's, drilling into the side of my Jeep or the side of my truck to put fender flares or other accessories on. I'm going to turn to professionals that do that as a service or for a living. I'm going to turn to, local expertise. I'm going to turn to guys like Lance here, as you see on the slide, and his team of experts to help me maneuver through that buying process. So, I'm looking to get, I'm looking for knowledge of the parts. I'm looking for brands that they may recommend, and I also want to find out, how can I meet my needs and the needs of my vehicle. So, like I was saying, I'm also going to be looking locally here. I'm looking for great service. I'm looking for a warranty that an installer can stand by in case there's something wrong, and so we can go back to them and get it addressed. And I need experts to help me figure that out. And I think most of you will agree there are things that customers value in dealing with a local accessory shop. And Brian, if you could go to the next slide there for me. the next thing we need to talk about is how are we going to capture that online traffic. And think of the idea or the concept of looking globally but buying locally. How do you get those customers to your store, the customers that are looking online? So more specifically, that customer that's on their laptop or on their iPad looking for products and trying to find something that's going to fit their truck. And here's a very powerful statistic that we found. Forrester, a well-known market research firm, reports that 80% of customers research products online, but 75% of them still prefer to buy in an actual brick-and-mortar store. So with that type of information and the technology that we put together, we've really come up with a great solution, and that's the eStore Local. And it really kind of solves all of those issues that I just talked about in helping to drive more folks to your store. So Brian, if you could, please, I guess let me switch over to my screen so I can go through a quick little demonstration of some things that we put into place to help drive that customer into your local brick-and-mortar store. And this is one of the powerful components that's included as part of the eStore Local program. And I think everybody can see my screen here. I'm on just regular Google. And I'm going to type in something fairly basic. If you're looking for products, you're typically going to type in the product name. Sometimes you'll type in the manufacturer. And then for me, I'm going to pretend here like I'm in actually Des Moines, Iowa, which is where one of our clients is. And when I hit search, it's going to come back with results. Now, as some of you may or may not know, there are a couple of different ways to kind of decipher what's on the screen. Some folks are paying for advertisements to be on the screen, which is this top area here that's shaded, and then anything on this right sidebar area is also advertisements. But the point I want to give you here, and I'll demonstrate this with a highlighter. This is organic area right here. So this is area that Google has determined is the best fit for the keywords that I have typed in. And what we've done here is we've, as part of the solution for American Toppers, is we've created locally optimized brand pages that are turned on for every brand that they turn on in the DCI catalog. And by doing that, this puts, in this case, and I apologize, I don't remember exactly how many brands American Toppers has turned on, but I think it's well over 100, 150, maybe even more. But what we've done is we've created a locally optimized brand page for every brand. So you can see here, very great, a really good ranking. This isn't going to happen all of the time. If you're in a very competitive marketplace, you're going to need to do a little bit more to get this kind of spacing. But for a lot of our clients across the board, they typically will have very good positioning with Google. So I'm going to click on this EGR page, and this is really just focused on promoting the EGR brand. I'm going to wait so that everybody can see the screen okay. All right, so let me clear out my drawing here on the left-hand side. So this is what we call a locally optimized brand page. You've got the EGR brand well stated. You've got keywords that we have put into the page, and again, I'll use my highlighter here. The city and state of the business. We've plugged in keywords or part types into the page as well, which is all of the different types that EGR provides to the marketplace. And then, of course, as you can also see, we have put in the DCI V12 lookup, which Rob Eberhardt's going to give us a tour of here in just a little bit. So we've already preset that to the EGR brand, so they can go in and check out all of the EGR products. And then down at the bottom, you've got a little bit of a write-up about the actual company, EGR, and then a write-up about your store, your business, and in this case, it's American Toppers. So we've really put together a page here that does what we're intending to do, and that's drive people to your website give them that lookup, and let them shop. And while we're on this page, before I flip it over to Rob here, I'm just going to hit on some high-level points, for example, in what we did for American Toppers. First and foremost, actually, let me wait till the screen gets caught up here. There we go. So we're on AmericanToppers.com. First thing I want to point out is, of course, professional design, very well branded, homepage with logo, strong branding throughout. For this client, they, of course, have a very patriotic name, so they wanted to have a little bit of that red, white, and blue, but they also wanted to promote the Linux service that they provide in the marketplace. And then, of course, the important part of what I want to show you is really the local focus. And by local focus, I'm talking about the custom banners that you see here. For example, visit our showroom today, driving that local customer into your business. Specials and coupons, great way to drive your customer back to your shop, providing a discount on a sale or a special with a product or service. These are completely customizable, manageable by you. There we go. So this is our coupon screen. And then we also have appointments. The customers can log in and set an appointment through the website. I'm not going to go to that screen because it takes up a little bit too much time to actually, let me click on it here. It should go pretty quickly. So customers that maybe like, requesting an appointment can do this right from their computer. Comes right into the store, designated to whoever you need to in your organization. And then also, what's important about the site is promoting the local services that you may provide. In this case, this client is a Linux franchisee. It could be Rhino Linings. It could be any other type of service. And we can build a great looking page that does a great job of explaining that service or services that you do that are, that really kind of capture, the overall feel of the site. And then the other aspect is showcasing the dealer lines that you may carry. So actually, let me refresh it here so you can see Linux. Of course, we do a separate page for all of the different subcategories of service for this particular service. So the other thing I want to point out before we hand it over to Rob here is, in this case, this client does a lot of truck tops and shells. We wanted to create a page that really showcased those lines. So in this case, they're an ARE dealer. So they want, we took some great manufacturer images and content and really showcased that product line for their customers. Okay. So as you can see, all of these things together really make a very powerful presence on the internet for your customers when they find you through, whether it be the locally optimized brand pages or the general Google search. But the real game changer for this website and this program is really the large catalog and the intuitive parts lookup that DCI brings to the table. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Rob Eberhardt, Director of Internet Solutions for DCI, to give us a tour here. So let me, if I can, kind of get everything set up here for you, Rob. And
thanks, Derek.
Be good to go.
Great. Thanks for the tour so far. Most of you are probably fairly familiar with DCI. DCI has been in the automotive cataloging business for a long, long time, over 30 years. About the last 15 of it, we've been focused on electronic cataloging. And now we have nearly 2 million products in our database that cover about 300 different brands. One of the features of eStore Local is that you have access to all of that. You're not limited to certain number of brands or anything. So you can log into catalograck.com. You'll have a specific login for your store. And any brand that is live in our database you can turn on your website. So it's very, very easy to get set up and get rolling. So let me see if I can get the mouse here to work. Did you hand me the mouse? Because it's not moving yet, Derek. There it goes. It's a little slow. All right, so one of the obvious ways that consumers look for products is by doing a year, make, model search. So we'll put in a Chevrolet pickup, which is one of the primary trucks that most of us sell accessories for, and then we'll click go. What will happen here is it'll bring back a visual list of products that are available for that particular truck. This setup on this site here is all alphabetical, but you can actually rank products within our system. So some of these products may not be as important as others. Let's say ball joints or U-bolt kits. Those are more suspension type products. So maybe you're focused more on bolt-on accessories and things like that, or under-the-hood performance. So those things can be elevated through the back end of the system to come up more prevalently. If you're searching for something specific, now that this has come up, one way you can do that is by start typing what you're looking for in the search box up here. And you know, I just typoed that and I backed up a little bit, but the system is trying to figure out what I'm looking for. So it's got lots of options here, and then we've got a visual representation here. So let's look up this fender flare real quick. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring back all the brands of fender flares that American Toppers has turned on for this site. Now the left navigation on this can be used for filtering. So you can go ahead and pick your bed style, so that's bed length, the brand, or the position that you're looking for. So let's just get the first one here, which is Bushwhacker. And then since I didn't filter anything, I've got the front only. I've got and then I've got front and rear. So let's pick this one right here. And then once we get down to the product page, as we all know, there's always some other criteria that has to be determined before we make sure we get the right part. So in this case, we need to know which bed this customer's truck has. And then we get this validation here that this does fit this exact truck. So it says does fit. If it did not fit, it would pop up a screen that says this does not fit. And then you've got an option to either change the vehicle, like if you put in the wrong vehicle, or you have the option to go ahead and see what does fit the particular truck that you put in. So lots of information on this page. You've got multiple images. You've got the ability to bring this image all the way up to full screen, which a little later in the presentation, Derek will talk about how this can be used in the store. It's a very nice tool in store. But these high-res images can be used to help you sell products. There's many other files down here. There's a tab about the manufacturer. There's an applications tab that tells you everything that this product fits. I'm sorry if I'm going a little fast. The screen's moving a little slow on me. And then we've got things like installation instructions. So in this case, if the consumer did want to install it themselves, or maybe they thought they wanted to, they could go ahead and start reading about how this installation goes. And in this case, this is a cutout flare, which requires some trimming of the actual body. So this is probably one that the guy would see this and then probably come to your store to install instead of him doing it himself. So the installation instructions can really be a driver to help them determine whether it's a do-it-yourself project or whether they want you to do it. So that's a typical way that a consumer would go through your website. In your store, though, if you can train your employees on how to use this lookup, there's some secrets to it that can really speed that process to get to a part. So I'm going to remove this vehicle and clear the lookup out. And let's say somebody walked in the front door of your store and they said, I want a set of fender flares. So the normal question is, what are you driving? So let's say we got a 2012 Ford F-150 and they want a fender flare. So we just type that in the keyword search, much like you would into Google, and quickly, here you are at fender flares for that truck. So it's a very, very efficient system that can save you a lot of time at looking up products. And if you know that, whatever brand is your preference in your store, you can go and sort by brand. You can browse through these. You can show them images. You can do all kinds of different things. So very efficient service that can speed up the lookup process. Instead of looking through manufacturers' catalogs or manufacturers' websites, you get all that on your own website. So that's basically how the DCI system works. Derek, I'll let you take it from there.
Great. Brian, if you could take it back to your screen. So I'll cover this real quick here. The other aspect of the service, which is really important, is the fact that DCI has created what we call a mobile optimized parts lookup solution. So people that access your domain from a smartphone, a tablet, iPad will go to a special lookup. It's not an application, so there's nothing to download. It goes right to a special lookup, very easy to search using kind of the premise of the V12 that Rob just showed you. And it's got one touch dial for phone. It's got a map button. It can take you back to the original site view for folks that are using a tablet. So as mobile becomes more and more important, the lookup capability and making that mobile is certainly important. So that is included as a kind of a base part of the service as part of the eStore local. So the next aspect of this service in our discussion today is, that opportunity, as Rob was talking about earlier, is upselling that in-store customer. And we've spoken with a lot of our accessory store clients and folks that have brick and mortars, and they've given us some interesting information. What we found is that roughly 50% of the customers that are waiting for an installation or for a service, they'll inquire about a new product or service. And that means coming up to the counter, or maybe even waiting in the lobby area for their vehicle. You want to give them that opportunity to look up a part. In fact, we've got a nice little image here on the slide that shows one of our clients that has a kiosk. It's literally bolted right to the table. It's got an iPad on it, and it's already got the parts lookup preset in the iPad. So a customer can look up parts, and typically if you're looking at an average sale of $200 to $300, that's just additional revenue that you're going to be able to capture while that customer is in your store. The other aspect that I want to talk about is, in fact, on one of our previous slides, you saw a picture there of a big screen behind the counter. And Lance and his folks at American Toppers have done a great job of implementing the power of the website in the store. And what they've done is, and you can do this with a monitor at the counter. He just happens to have two 50-inch monitors behind the counter, and when somebody walks in, does the lookup like Rob just showed you, pulls up the image of the part in full screen, which is a capability that the V12 has. You've got a customer there looking at the part, and envisioning it, imagining it on their vehicle, getting excited about it. Your counter person can easily toggle back to their computer, go to whoever they need to look up the price, figure out the installation, figure out the upsell that they want to maybe give the customer, and it really takes that shopping experience and makes it a much more visual. And with that, I think it certainly would improve the in-store capability of the website. And with that being said, what I'm going to do is turn this over to Brian to talk about the numbers and the revenue side of this, because we've talked and shown you some really powerful and exciting things, but the numbers are super important. So, Brian, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Hey, thanks, Derek. So yeah, I want to you talk about what this kind of solution and the techniques we've outlined really mean in terms of you kind of the bottom line, revenue, your conversion rates, and to kind of put this in perspective of what this actually could mean to your store. And so I have some charts here, which we've put together based on your feedback from our customers, including Lance over at American Toppers. And I'd like to start off with you basically pulling in this local online searches into your website and how that can convert over into your sales. There's basically three ways of converting web traffic on your website. One is through web inquiries, from the contact page, or from product pages, or from emails. That is through phone calls, and also from people who just get in a car and drive over to your store. And from our surveys and direct interviews, we've seen that generally most people are coming through the web inquiries. People are getting a lot of phone calls from the solution, and as well as people driving in directly. People who go storing directly are having a much higher conversion rate. But across the board, you're looking pretty equal. If you have 6,000 unique visitors per month, you're getting some good sales from all three of these channels. Let's switch to the next slide here. So the other big thing that they've really highlighted is that it's just not pulling people into the store and selling them on the products they're inquiring about. There's a huge upsell opportunity for everyone in the store, everyone that inquires by email or by phone call, especially given the local store's expertise in installation and service, in you're really finding the right match of products and vehicles. So we have here kind of a modest 15% conversion rate of people that inquire around a part, convert them, upsell them to your additional purchases. So for 6,000 unique visitors, we've kind of translated this, the numbers, to about 8,000, 500 in additional revenue per month. And obviously, your numbers vary per store by situation, and we welcome the opportunity to walk through some of these analyses with you one-on-one. The other thing we've noticed is that the big advantage of the solution is not just pulling people online into your store, but using it as a sales tool, having staff members behind the booth using it as a sales tool, but also having it on an independent kiosk where you can take people that you're in your shop for installations, your services that you're just there, and showing them allowing them to access your full catalog, get them excited about your additional parts for the vehicle. And through kind of the surveys we've done, 50% of the people that you at a shop and exposed to this technology are going to search for parts. And with the help of a salesperson, 50% of those end up purchasing additional parts. So again, this is kind of another spreadsheet that we'd like to kind of walk through with you personally, if it makes sense. And here again, given 200 installations done per month and 400 visitors, just given some standard averages we've worked through, could equate to another $10,000 in revenue if the technology is used properly. So overall, we've showed you, walked you through kind of the solution and kind of the market overview. And just want to summarize this real quickly, that more and more people are searching for accessory parts online through web searches, as opposed to you directly calling stores. And it's absolutely critical that you have a presence in the search engines that's locally optimized, so you compete against the larger entities out there like the Amazons and eBays and Summit Racings, because you have the local presence. Pull these people in, convert them based on your what you do better, your local presence, and you position your website correctly from the very get-go in the search engines all the way through to the in-store upsell opportunities. And that being said, I'd like to kind of open this up to Q&A. And again, in your GoToWebinar panel, there's the space for entering questions. And Derek and Rob will be standing by to answer questions that come through here. So I'm getting a question. I think this one is good for you, Derek, asking if this can be turned into an e-commerce solution. What are the options?
Yeah, great question, Brian. And really, the solution that we showed you today is a non-e-commerce solution without a shopping cart and checkout, and really putting together an e-commerce solution. Of course, that's something that we can certainly help you with. It's definitely a different animal, different aspects to that type of a site, and it's something that we can certainly help you with. But that is, of course, something that we do, and we can set up a time to kind of talk about your market, your strategy, what you want to focus on, and how we can best help you with DCI data and Web Shop Manager.
So I see another question coming in. What if I want to add brands that aren't in the DCI catalog to an eStore local? Do you want to tackle that one, Derek?
Yeah, there's actually a couple different ways. I'll let Rob do the second part. The first is, typically with the eStore local, what we recommend is creating what we would call branded landing pages. So very similar to the ARE page that I showed earlier. You know, if there is a brand that DCI does not catalog, the most cost-effective way and the best way is to create a page that's well branded. It's got great product images. It's got content from the manufacturer, and it's out there for folks to know that you do sell and represent that product. So it's something that the search engines are going to be able to scan and catalog and see. You know, DCI does offer private cataloging, but you know, that's kind of like the extreme step. I'll let Rob just quickly talk about that for a second.
Right. We do build private catalogs for some of our other customers. We had a customer down in the Houston area that had a brand that was very regional, heavy-duty truck bumpers that we ended up building a private catalog for his eStore local, and it worked out quite well. Typically, what we try to do is focus on, you know, the best SKUs that you're focused on selling to keep the cost down, keep the number of SKUs that we're building. We don't want to build, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 part numbers when you're really focused on, you know, 20 or 30. So, but we can definitely build custom catalogs as well.
Excellent. So here's a question. Besides the locally optimized brand pages and kind of banners on the website, the rotating banners that are optimized, what other techniques do you recommend for capturing online traffic? Or local traffic, I'm sorry.
Well, there's lots of different ways to drive traffic to websites. There's obviously social media, Facebook. Derek can talk a little bit about some of the Facebook products that are services that Web Design offers. There's Twitter. There's local blogs about cars. There's national blogs about cars. You can do a blog on your own website. YouTube videos of installations. It comes down to how much time and effort do you have to put on it and into it, and you know, where's the biggest return for your money. And we all realize that brick and mortar retailers across the country are busy people. I mean, you guys are working 6 or 7 days a week, and lots of times 10 or more hours a day trying to keep the store rolling, and there isn't a lot of hours to do some of those things. So that's really why we focused on building these brand pages for you as an immediate hit to help you get that traffic. But we've seen some customers that just take a video camera out into the installation bay and they're kind of hamming it up, putting an air intake system on somebody's car, and those kind of things can drive tremendous amounts of traffic to your site locally because they see that, they see your installation capability, and then they come in. So, Derek, what are some of the things you could do on Facebook for them?
All the things you just mentioned, Rob, are super powerful. From a social media standpoint, we can certainly make sure that all of your social media accounts are all well branded, such as your Facebook page with a custom banner, custom welcome page to drive them back to the website. Twitter template, YouTube videos, super powerful. We can make sure that your YouTube page is branded with your logo and all of your branding. So those are the things that we can offer as a service for you. And one of the things that we didn't talk about today is the idea of taking your local community, which is typically your core customers, and building a community section into the website. And we have an awesome tool called Reader's Rides, which we didn't demonstrate today. But Reader's Rides is a great way to allow your customers to set up an account, showcase their vehicle, talk about what they've done, talk about the parts that they are looking to buy for their vehicle, and it really helps connect that social media and also your community together. So if you're interested in that, feel free to let us know. We'll be glad to talk about it and demo it for you.
Great. A couple more questions here. One is, does making it easier to search on your website help improve conversions? I think I'll handle that one. So we've seen this across the board from our customers, and generally in commerce right now, people are expecting an elite experience, and we're seeing that most people are bouncing from websites, not because of pricing or other factors regarding the product, is just because they can't find the product to the search. So you kind of fast, intuitive search that Rob showed you with the V12, where you can use different filters and categories and attributes to find your product quickly, is growing more and more important. People are losing patience for slower, harder to use lookup systems on your website. So definitely, search technology is the key to conversion. One really good question here is, for people considering e-commerce, what points would we make to help people understand the value of a solution like this, which is not e-commerce, in terms of driving revenue? And I don't know if Derek, you wanted to speak to that one.
Yeah, I think the aspect of whether or not this is, as the question asked there, from a smart investment in deciding whether or not eStore Local is the right fit over e-commerce, Rob made a very valuable point there, and coming down to resources that you may have. E-commerce is super time sensitive or time intense process, especially with the way that the market's changing with Google. So we typically, when we're talking to folks, just getting an idea of your experience with the internet, the time and the resources that you have to put into the site, and those are some of the initial indicators that will help us kind of determine whether or not this is the right fit for you. And I'll let Rob talk, answer another part of this, and that's when you look at making this type of an investment, for your brick and mortar, you've got property, you've got human resources, you've got equipment. That's typically your biggest investment. So you've got to do everything you can to drive traffic in to help pay for that and grow that retail business. And this eStore Local is a great way to do that, and that needs to be something that really maybe needs to be addressed first and foremost. And then once that's set, then we can certainly sit down and talk about what we can help you do on the e-commerce side. So, Rob, I don't know if you want to add any more to that, or maybe if anything I missed there.
No, I think you covered it well. It's just, before you make that leap into the e-commerce world, you kind of have to do, an evaluation of the resources inside the company, and Derek and I can help you do that during a one-on-one meeting, to where we can talk about, what are the skill sets needed, who are the, what kind of resources are needed, what kind of marketing funding is needed, because in today's world with Google, changing away from some free sources of traffic, it really takes a pretty good marketing fund in order to drive traffic to a website. So I think that covers that question.
Excellent. So I'm not seeing any more questions come up here, and I know we've kind of reached our time constraints. I appreciate everyone for attending the webinar. We'll look forward to having additional webinars on kind of similar topics going forward, collaborating with Rob and DCI. And if you do have additional questions that you come up with, or would like to speak to us directly, kind of about what we discussed today, about eStore local solution, about the numbers that we laid out, we're here. Derek's number is up on the screen, and he'll be available. But if there is anything else, I wish everyone a happy afternoon, and thanks again for attending, and we'll see you soon.